Welcome in, everybody. Today we have the infamous BDA Law here with us. Today we're going to discuss one little topic based off of the latest chapter of One Piece. In the latest chapter, we see that Shanks is actually on Elbaf. You know, he's chilling, drinking with the giants. You know, we love to see it. But this does make you wonder, what happened to Bartolomeo? And I know I've been kind of throwing this out there, but it's like, yo, like Shanks said he wanted to run the smoke by the guy, right? They're like, hey, let's go see Luffy. Nah, we have to deal with something in our own backyard. We gotta deal with Bartolomeo. He burned down the flag. We can't let that slide. And then we cut here and Shanks is chilling. You know, he doesn't say one thing about Bartolomeo. He's hanging out, talking to old friends. Do you think this means that he has dealt with Bartolomeo?
It's tough, right? Because do we know where Barto is doing stuff?
We don't know where. We just know it was on his territory.
So then Barto is probably somewhere in Elbaf.
You think
That would
so?
make a ton of sense. Yeah, he's locked up in Elbaf somewhere. Imagine Bartolomeo, he goes to Elbaf and he's causing a ruckus, right?
Yeah.
It would be a great way to bring him back together if they go to Elbaf and Bartolomeo is locked up. He's like, oh, I was causing a bit of trouble in Shanks' territory. And he's in Elbaf locked up because I don't think Shanks would kill him. I don't think so.
No.
Right? But he just teach him a lesson.
I mean, Ben Beckman and the other boys, you know, that's a
That's who you got to worry about. Right?
You got to worry about Ben Beckman.
Clearly
man,
based
the
off
arm
of Kid.
taker.
Yeah, that's who you got to worry about. But that's typically how it is, right? Like if it's like a boss, like you don't worry about the boss, right? You worry about the guys that's with the boss because they got to do everything to protect him.
But then again, these guys are from a different era of pirates. Like, you got to remember, Roger, we remember him, you know, like the pink laugh tail lights and stuff, but Roger was going around taking names. Do you remember Squard when he was introduced? Roger killed his entire crew.
Do you think it was on purpose or just happenstance?
I don't know. Like, it was a storm, right? So maybe Roger just beat them and then they just died in the storm.
Right.
But I remember when I first got to that part in Marineford, I was like, yo, Roger killed all these guys? Like, Squard is kind of nice. Like, what are you talking about? He killed all of his friends. He killed all of his friends and left Squard alive. And I was like, if Shanks was there at the time, if Shanks was an apprentice just watching this go down, maybe Shanks has that dog in him.
But think about what's his face? Moria. Because Moria survived Kaido.
Yeah, right? He did.
His entire crew got killed and just him survived. So my thing is though, like if your entire crew dies and you survive, shouldn't you just off yourself?
Yeah, I don't know how you live with that, right? You just hear your Nakama. Like, imagine a Brooks situation.
Oh my god. I mean, I guess Brooks is the worst one.
Yeah.
Right? Because he basically
he can't die. He's still alive. He
can't die, and he saw all of them die. But like, if you take an L so bad, how do you recover from that? That you're responsible for your entire crew getting folded and dying.
And Roger was the one who caused it.
Oh my god. That's tough. That's tough. I feel a bit more pity for people like Squard and Moria now. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I like to imagine when Roger got to Laugh Tail, he was laughing because he just remembered Squard exists. He's like, oh, Squard is at a bar.
Like,
oh, what a loser.
Squard.
Oh, that guy. We killed his crew.
Like, go get your right hand, Squard. Like, oh man, he's dead. Sorry.
Sorry about that one, man. Jeez.
Golly. But you think Barto's entire crew is gone?
No.
Like, was that the lesson?
Remember back in Dressrosa when we first met Maynard and we saw the Marines over there? They actually beat Gambia, which was supposedly Bartolomeo's right-hand man. And then out of nowhere, when we left Dressrosa, Gambia was with Barto again. So, you know, Gambia has plot armor. I think the Barto Club has plot armor to some extent.
Because of the connections.
Yeah, the connections, man. But that's the reason I kind of want to talk about it, because of the connections. Luffy specifically says, hey, if you guys are ever in trouble, if you need help, I got you. So my hypothetical, right? This is only hypothetical. We don't know what actually happened. But if Shanks actually beat Bartolomeo black and blue, maybe took an arm, you know, Ben Beckman came by and was like, hey, give me those fingers. If that happened, do you think Luffy would actually fight Shanks?
No. Well, I think so? So he took his arm?
Yeah, let's say Shanks went a little bit too far. And then we have the whole Hachi situation from Sabaody where he's like, oh, Luffy, don't be upset. You know, this is my fault. I shouldn't have done this. Do you think Luffy would get upset at Shanks? Or do you think he'd be like, oh, what were you doing? Like, why'd you burn down Shanks' flag, idiot? Like, this is a moral conundrum, right? Like, this is your hero you're talking about. Shanks is Luffy's idol. And if Shanks is somebody who laid a finger on Luffy's Nakama, knowing it's Luffy's Nakama, right? Because Barto burned down the flag and put up Luffy's. Shanks knows this. He knows that they're associated. What do you think Luffy would do? Would he look at his subordinate and be like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I can't do anything about this? Or do you think he'd be like, hey, Shanks, that's not cool?
That's a tough question.
I feel like this is one of the reasons why Shanks didn't want to just go talk to Luffy. I think Yasop or Lucky Roo suggested that, like, hey, let's just talk to Luffy. It's Luffy's subordinate. But Shanks said no, like we're going to Bartolomeo. So I feel like this could be Luffy's first showing of what to do as a fleet commander, right? Like this could be Shanks showing him like, hey, the world is big, the world is bad. Sometimes you have to make these decisions.
Yeah.
This could be growth for Luffy.
Who? Okay. I would say Luffy does go after Shanks. This could be what triggers it though, right?
Yeah. Because we're all wondering, like, how do they end up fighting? Is
how
it
they end up
back?
fighting?
Is it bloodlusted? Is it friendly? You know.
Here's the crazy part, because Shanks, for the most part, seems to be evading Luffy. Like, yeah. I don't have a reason to interact. Maybe Shanks forces Luffy's hand and forces Luffy to do something, and then that kind of makes Shanks, like, I guess, realizes or acknowledges Luffy and say, okay, you finally become a great pirate. You can make difficult decisions.
Yeah. You
know, maybe that's part of his growth process. So that could be the thing that does it, the Bartolomeo stuff, because I think, especially Bartolomeo's in Elbaf, right? Yeah. And then after Elbaf, they're like, all right, Luffy, we can go to Laugh Tale now. Say they got the final Poneglyph thing. He's like, nope, I got one stop to make.
I have to deal with this. He looks at Bartolomeo. He has no fingers, and he's like, I got to do something.
No fingers, yeah. He just looks at Bartolomeo, his fingers in like a jar. He's like, I gotta go. We got one stop to make. Zoro, you ready? We got a strong man with a gun that's gonna be there. But the crazy part as well is, like, when I think about just like Bartolomeo and everything with Elbaf, Kid more than likely, right? It's still gonna be an Elbaf fight time to Straw Hats get there.
Yeah. This is going to be one of those fights that lasts for 10 days and 10 nights.
And here's the thing. And where else does Law go? He's going to Elbaf too, right?
Yeah. I mean, eventually he should go towards Elbaf or around this area.
Yeah. And guess who's going to make her way there as well?
Who?
The biggest mom of all.
Oh, my gosh. Elbaf is just the culmination of pirates.
Because everything is so, like, cluttered for the most part, kinda, right? They're in the same vicinity. It's so crazy that a lot of these people have never seen each other and never fought. It seemed like Marco was the first time he saw a King. Like, oh, King, I heard about
King, Queen, you guys.
Yeah, I heard about, you know, these things that were atop the red line, or maybe it's just
he
like,
might have been this special race. I don't know.
Right, you know.
Rumors.
But the crazy part about it is, like, everything is in this like cluster. So if Shanks meets Luffy in Elbaf, or even if he's not in Elbaf and he's going to be somewhere close by, right? Say he's in Sphinx, and Sphinx is like the last location of like the Poneglyph, and he knows that, and he goes there. Then Luffy goes to Sphinx after that. How'd you know this was right there? So even after Shanks and Luffy interacts, Shanks can just, like, you know what? It's Blackbeard time. Luffy's great. I can go after Blackbeard now.
Luffy's the real captain. You know, he fought me for Bartolomeo. That shows guts.
He's a
time
real
to
boy.
go die to Blackbeard.
You know, like, I can go down to Blackbeard now. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that this is a very interesting topic, the Bartolomeo thing, because that could be the trigger. That could 100% be the trigger, and it could be growth for Luffy as well. I like it.
Yeah, because we all see Luffy as a Yonko now. Like, where does he go after this? Pirate King? Well, yeah, he could become Pirate King, but he's also a fleet commander, and we haven't really seen him do anything yet. We haven't seen how the fleet has become active yet.
If we look at Luffy's relationship with his Grand Fleet, it's almost like they were just they're in love with him, damn near. Like, it's just, he has the ability as well, you know, to draw people to him. Like, look at Luffy. Luffy just created friends out of the CP0 agents. Like, it's insane.
It's his strongest power. And Oda, in the most recent SBS, actually said that Shanks' Grand Fleet is very similar to Luffy's. So even then, it's like, dynamic-wise, like, I feel like if Shanks is the type of guy who would protect his territory, protect his Grand Fleet members, I feel like Luffy would be the same. Yeah.
I mean, look how they were grabbing on Shanks. He was like, yo, I want to pay you. Like, can I pay you now? You know?
Take my heavenly tribute, please.
just so weird. But hey, man, I'm here for it.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire. I love that idea though.
Bouncing off of that real quick, just one last topic I want to throw at you. Now that we know that Shanks has these Elbaf connections, it's been long prophesized. People drew the connections to him and Nordic gods. And not to mention, but the Nordic god that Shanks most likely is based off of not just has red hair and is missing an arm, but they also happen to meet the end of their life due to the hands of the Guardian of Hell, which modern day equivalent, Cerberus. Cerberus 3 heads, and this can only refer to one character.
Luffy?
Yeah, Doflamingo is gonna make a comeback. Yeah, he's gonna take down Shanks. That really caught me off guard. I was gonna say Blackbeard, but I guess Doflamingo, Blackbeard, it's the same person. you take off the sunglasses, you hear the Z ha ha ha, and then there we go.
Okay,
that's the biggest plot twist. People say Blackbeard is a second personality. It's actually just Doflamingo.
Doflamingo?
Yeah.
God. Have you ever seen them both in the same place? I don't know. But,
like Clark Kent and Superman, yeah. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation.
That reminds me of like a
big theory.
random DC show I watched recently. It's like Justice League and Battle of the Super Sons. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No.
It was just so. It wasn't stupid, but it was just like Superman got taken out by something that freaking what's his name? Batman's son. What's his name?
Oh, Damian Wayne.
Damian Wayne. That can take him out. I was just like, come on, what are we doing here? Either way.
The power scaling. That's some Elbaf stuff. Is that Dorian Broggy? What's going on here?
But no. Wait, what's the name of the god that Shanks is?
I think it's excuse my pronunciation. It's either Tyr or Tyre. It's Tyr, but I'm not too sure how they pronounce it.
Okay. Tyr. Okay, I googled Tyr. It took me to Tyr swimwear and swimming goggles. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Tyr.
So this is one of the main reasons why people were like, if Elbaf is all about, Vikings, then there's a good chance that Shanks is related to it, which turned out to be true.
Yeah. So are we gonna go further along with it?
I mean, maybe. I mean, at this point, I feel like we kind of do, right? Okay. Like, if this was Shanks' character from day one, or at least what he was based off of, and then we somehow meet a character that has associations to darkness and already scarred the man, I feel like this might be where we're going. I feel like we are saying that Shanks, the probability of Shanks dying to Blackbeard, maybe it didn't go up to 100%, but it boosted at least 10%, right? It's a green day in the marketplace.
No, this is good. Like reading stuff about him, I can see like the connections to Shanks. Right after we talk about Tyr, now I'm like go do some research into Tyr and talk about it because this is interesting.
Shanks versus Luffy because of Bartolomeo, and then Shanks goes off to fight Blackbeard, and that's GG. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, end of the story until Zoro saves it because he has to fight Mihawk, right? So you gotta wait and see.
Yeah, I guess that really is. Like, there's not too many, like, big, hyped-up battles that we've been looking forward to, right? Like, Luffy, Blackbeard, Shanks, Blackbeard, Luffy, Shanks, Zoro Mihawk. And then what else is that? Like, after all those fights, Sanji Zeph. Cursed. That's a cursed fight.
Like, I've come to fight you for your restaurant?
Yeah, my leg will turn you black and blue. I don't know.
I'll do you worse than Captain Morgan. Was it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy when you really think about it. Yeah, there's not too many fights after that are hyped up. Like, nobody's looking forward to Luffy versus Buggy, right? Nobody's like, we've been waiting for this for years. The first fight and the last fight. I guess Luffy versus Im, but we don't even know if Im is necessarily a fighter yet.
Well, okay, so I think if we think Im is a fighter along with the Gurusei, then those are fights we can look forward to, or Zoro and Fujitora, Sanji and Kizaru, Sabo and Akainu.
Even Sabo Akainu, that works too. The revenge match.
Yeah, so I think that's what people kind of look at, but it's nothing really set in stone more than Shanks and Blackbeard, Luffy and Blackbeard, and Zoro and Mihawk. Those are the ones that we know definitively has to happen.
now that you brought back Akainu, last thing I want to talk about before we end off here.
Yeah.
But I know it isn't canon, but I played the One Piece Odyssey game. You know how Ace, the Fire Logia, dies to Akainu? A person that clashes with Akainu and has stronger flames is Sanji.
He clashed with Akainu?
Sanji in the game clashes with Akainu. And Akainu's like, whoa, like, you're quite strong, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? I remember witnessing that scene, and I was at a loss of words.
But remember the last time somebody said that to Sanji?
Hey, the last person that said that was Queen, though.
Did Queen call Sanji strong?
I think so. I mean, he lied, but in his inner monologue, Queen was like, oh my god, that hurt. Queen was like, oh, that was nothing, my boy.
FYI,
like,
Queen in the anime is amazing.
They did Queen justice. I don't know who it is, but those animators, they love Queen. They don't like King.
I don't know if
you saw that last episode, but
yeah,
they don't like King.
King was super mid in the last episode.
Dude, he was flapping his arms like a kid doing the doggy paddle in water.
When he's about to pull off, he looked like he's about to twerk. It was just all bad for King in the last episode.
Dude, King was hyping it up. He's like, oh, let's see how you deal with this, Roanoa.
And then he lost power of his mask. It's just like, okay. Yeah, King. But Queen is going crazy in the anime. I love it.
They love Queen.
He like randomly speaks English too. It's great. It's great. I love him.
Dude, imagine how blasphemous it would be if the Sanji and Queen fight was better than the Zoro and King fight in the anime.
You know why? I think they're saving all of their anime points. They're saving them for like that final attack between like the Magma and Zoro using Advanced Conqueror's Haki.
They've got to be.
Yeah, because like the last episode wasn't great, but the episode before that was great. And so it's kind of like after a really great episode, typically the animation just falls off a cliff for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, so
they got to take a break.
They got to take a little break. They're like, yeah, we went all out for that one. So
yeah, I'll see you in 24 hours.
Yeah, they're like, you know, for the finale for Queen and Sanji is going to be great. Finale for Zoro and King is going to be great. I really can't wait for certain moments, especially my boy Law. That's going to be
You're waiting for the
insane.
Shock Willy?
That might break the community, bro.
The Shock Willy, the crazy light beam that he's going to send down to Big Mom, everything.
It's gonna be insane.
I'm ready for Kid, bro. I'm ready for more CGI metal.
Well, Kid stocks are up, right?
Yeah.
Now I don't know if I'd buy them because I don't know what's gonna transpire. But if you held on to your Kid stock, if you held on to them, man, you're in great shape. You're in great shape if you held on to your Kid stock.
Imagine the next chapter of One Piece. Just Kid pulls out the W. And on that note, thank you guys for coming in. Shout out to BDA Law for joining us once again. You guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching this video.
Peace out.
Peace out. That's beautiful.